Alright, welcome everybody to another broadcast here on the AMP Motorsports channel of the RLMS here on iRacing. Got a very healthy field for you today. Waiting for all our drivers to grid up so we can go through our starting grid here at Le Mans. Starting in the pole position in the LMP1 class, we have Jan Korbs in that Porsche 919. Next to him, Peter Sikdar. Behind him, Daniel Smith. And rounding out that field is David Burgess. First place in your LMP2 class is going to be Ben Bremen. Nick Tyrrell in second place. Matthew Cotterham in third. And rounding out that field will be Kevin Hay. In your LMPC class, that is the Corvette C7s, you have Kevin Fueling. Again, returning with us for the RLMS series. Julian Lockwood in second place for the LMPCs, and Evan Pasquini rounding out that field. And your GTE class, the largest class today, is going to be Jason Taylor in that first spot. You got Rob Henderson in second place, Jean Salata in third, Zachary Bash in fourth, and rounding out the field today is going to be Taylor Stantham in fifth place. Got a lot of drivers there in that GTE field from Echelon Esports. I love to see the team drivers out here working together. Got a short parade lap here at Le Mans, so we're going to be racing here in just one moment. Drivers getting ready, getting set. We'll see how much of the boost those LMP1 drivers use here at the start. It's going to be an outright slaughterfest trying to get into the first place position and hold on to that in that class. Our HPD class, pretty much a raw driving experience, no boost to use, just all they've got is their engine behind them. Corvette series standing in for what would be the Orica in the real life series. This car's quite a handful to drive. These drivers are going to do a great job with it. And a massive showing from the Corvettes and Porsches here. We got Corvettes and Porsches all over the place. All right. Like we're about to see the pace car pull off. So the LMP1 drivers opting to go single file on the start. That's not a bad idea. Green flag, we are racing. Nice clean start for our LMP1 driver. Looks like a little bit of an off track for second place LMP2, but clean through the chicane. Are we missing a Corvette? Looks like a Corvette failed to get through the last chicanes. He's back out on track. I'm sure he'll be alright. Seems like that was Kevin, our lead driver. We hop in here and make sure that we don't need any sort of black clears or anything like that. Alright, sorry about that, folks. Kind of pulling double duty here with the admin responsibilities and the broadcast. Kevin making his way back through the GTE field now. Check in with your overall leader here as he makes his way through onto the Mulsanne straight for the first time. See Daniel tucking into the draft. possibly trying to go for a fuel saving opportunity. And Nick is just pulling away from that LMP1 field already. He's got himself a 5-second gap after the first straights. See Kevin doing his best to try to break that draft, or maybe he's waving the driver through. It seems like he's waving him through. He just wants to get out here and have a good time. He doesn't want to fight just yet. See our two C7 drivers leading the field, right behind that LMP2 class. I would be a bit surprised to see a C7 pass an HPD, but it's not out of the question. It's like Jason taking a dominant lead here in the GTE class starting out. Already got himself a 3.5-second gap. Let's check back in on your LMP1 class as they come around the start-finish line for the first time. It's like we had a mostly clean first lap for the entire field. Check in with our LMP2 class as they come to the line for the first time. And right on their tails is that LMPC class. Kevin making his way through that GTE field, maybe breaking him up a little bit, trying to make up for that early mistake on the start. He's got a long way to go. You see him flashing his lights saying, "Let me through, I've got somewhere to be." I think the GT drivers have no obligation to let him through. He's going to have to find a way around. The big lockup. Ooh! Off goes Zachary. Collects it, gets it back together. His teammates giving him plenty of room there. It's like Kevin having a little bit of issue there in the back. Not quite sure what that is about, but still out there running with us, which is good. Those two C7s just right close together. See if Julian can break the draft. I think that Evan's going to keep him in his sights for a while here. Now we see Jan under pressure in the overall lead. Perhaps Peter using some of that boost to stay in the draft. They're right there together. Put a blanket under those two cars. Sorry, onto those two cars. Two pigs in a blanket right there. Well, at least one of them looks like a pig. I'm not sure about the other Audi. Porsche and Audi fighting for the lead here on lap 2. Man, just look at that speed. That is ridiculous. Looks like Kevin's made his way all the way around the GTE class now. He's got open air up to his classmates up in the second and first slot. And we're going to keep an eye on that. Ooh, we got another spin from Rob. Watch as he tries to collect himself. It's a great job keeping it locked down and waiting for the track to be clear. Love to see it. Let's check back in with your LMP leaders, and they are still just neck and neck. See what happens here on the straight. Who uses the boost early? Who saves it for later? He's got boost and a draft. It's a little bit of an advantage there for the second car. Looks like he's going to stay tucked in, possibly fuel saving. Nope. He takes a look. Is he going to make it? Up into the lead goes Peter. The number 7 Porsche. See if Yan has an answer for him on the second straight. I think he's going to tuck into the draft and save his own fuel. Check back in with our GTE field here. We see Kevin Hayes making his way through after a mistake. Maybe some issues for Kevin fueling here, letting the GTE leader by. Those two cars are very close in pace, so it isn't outside the picture that the fastest of the GTE cars could be outpacing some of the LMPCs. Now the LMPC car does take a while to come up to temperature, and it looks like he does have a little bit of front end damage, so that could be playing a part as well. And Jason just dominating performance here, 7-second gap over Rob. Now we did see Rob have a spin early on. So if he can just keep his nose clean and keep driving, then he might just walk away with a victory here in the GTE class. Peter still holding strong in that first slot after that pass we saw down the back straight. Yeah, now 1 second back. See if we can leave him in the dust. Get out in the open air, break the draft, and just drive away. See, it looks like we're going to see a little bit of hopscotch here between the last of the LMPC cars and the GTE cars. That's part of multi-class racing, is you got to find a way around. You got to share the track. This driver's doing a great job of doing just that. Now we see that 4th HPD car making his way through as well. Nice and easy through the second chicane. A little bit wide, that might give him a slowdown. Might have to let that GTE car back through. Hopefully not. Yeah. I guess he's alright. I think he's okay. Made it out without a slowdown there. And drivers are going to have to be very careful about off tracks. After 24 incident points, they do have a drive-through penalty. Jason so far having a very clean race, even though it's been very eventful. He's got that LMPC to deal with and an HPD behind him, and he still hasn't even made lap 3. It's quite crowded out there for our GTE leader. It's up through the Porsche curves, that HPD taking his time. No pressure from behind, but he does have a bit of pressure to catch up to the rest of his field. Looks like he's going to make his way through before the last 2 chicanes. Nice and easy does it. And now he's got himself an LMPC to find those way around too. Kevin doing a great job of catching back up to the field, keeping them right there in his sights. Jason now in clean air, nobody behind him to push him. He's got a nice healthy 8-second gap back to the second GTE car. Very comfortable position for him. Let's check back in with your race leader, Peter Sikar. Looks like he's able to start legging it away from Jan there in the second place position. He's got about a 3-second gap now. Started second place. We saw that massive overtake going into the first chicane of the backstretch. Let's see if he can hold it together and come home with a race win. Right now, looking at the timing, looks like the closest battle on the track is going to be in your HPD class. The 1-second gap, Matthew back from Ben. Just slightly outside of the draft range for these cars. These cars not having the boost that the LMP1 class has. It's all driving ability. It's like a rough exit there from Matthew out of that corner. One of the tightest corners on the circuit there, turn 20. See here pretty soon we're going to be able to check in with our LMP1 as they make their way through the GTE field for the first time. Your LMPC leader here, Julian Lockwood, doing a great job of holding that LMPC together. Not an easy car to drive around this circuit. They're doing a great job of keeping pace. Alright, and here we go, the first of our cross traffic. Blinking his lights, letting him know he's coming. This might get a little hairy for Peter. He's got a lot of cars to make his way through right now. Ooh, and a big dive to the inside. A little bit of indecision there. Trying to suss up where that GTE is going to put himself on the track. He's got a lot of traffic to make his way through before the end of the race, so it's all about keeping a level head, being smart, making good decisions. And the speed differential between these two cars. In the GTE car, you just see a car come flying by and it's just a blur, disappears in the distance within a second. Looks like Jan's able to make his way through as well. Nice and easy. No major incidents so far out of the LMP1 and GTE clash. Ooh, 3 wide going down the back or the front stretch there on the start-finish line. Things starting to heat up a little bit. Now back with Peter as he makes his way up towards the GTE leader. Looks like he's going to have a nice easy time getting by on the straight. A little blink to let him know he's there, and off through he goes. Up and around Kevin in that LMPC car. Really wide there coming out of the first chicane for Jan, and I think that GTE car of, who's that back there? That's our class leader, Jason, giving him a flash, letting him know that was a little bit scary, sir. Be a lot of action in this race before we get to the end of it. Now a little less than an hour to go in the race. These drivers still have a lot of miles to put on these cars. Oh, and we have an HPD around. Right in the thick of it. See Kevin doing a great job of keeping it locked down, waiting for the track to be clear. Let's see what happened there. We'll go back and look. Oh, and just wide coming out of that corner. A little too much steering angle, a little too much gas. Maybe go in and grab that quick repair and get back out there. All good. Daniel making his way through some LMPC traffic here. Nice and easy, a little flash to let him know he's there, and on through he goes. It's like our LMP1 field. Catching up to our LMPC leaders now. Those C7 Corvettes, some of the best sounding cars on iRacing in my opinion. A little blink to let him know he's there. Those LMP1 cars have tons and tons of downforce. It is not very much for those drivers to exit the corner on the inside and just find a way through that way. Probably the easiest way to get around traffic in those cars. As one of our drivers said, they have infinite downforce. Maybe not infinite, but well enough to make it around traffic. Seems like Kevin's gonna opt to stay out. Doesn't look like he sustained too much damage in that spin, so the car must be feeling good. I'm sure he'll be okay. You see Jan making his way through the LMPC class now. And Daniel close behind. Massive closing speeds on that LMPC. Looks like he's gonna have to tuck in and wait for a way around. Onto the outside. Plenty of room given. Great respect by these drivers, giving each other plenty of room. Looks like we've got a very massive battle going on in our GTE field now as our 4th LMP driver tries to make his way through. And, ooh, big jump. Scary moment there for our LMP driver. All's fair, no harm, no foul. Could have been a massive incident. Great job by the drivers keeping everything clean. Looks like Rob kind of lost out a little bit on that move, but I'm sure he's glad to still race. Keep racing. These Corvette drivers all in a row. Here I think we've been through 6 laps so far and they're still just within 2 seconds of each other. Check back in with our LMP class here. They come across the line for the 7th time. All 3 drivers still in that field within 10 seconds of each other. a very competitive class today. Check in here with Kevin, the fourth driver there. Just tries to make his way past some LMP traffic. LMPC traffic. Seeing lots of patience from these drivers as they wait for an opportune moment to make the pass. Let's go tuck into the draft. He ought to be able to get around here. And he does. Kevin will be holding on for that first pit stop where he can catch his quick repair and possibly get that damage off the front of the car. That C7, it really gets tight if you mess up that front wing, and that seems to be what Kevin Fueling has done here early on in the race. Whatever happened to him off the start caused some issues for his car. And he might not even be aware that he's got damage. It's really hard to tell when you're driving. Peter, your overall leader, now with a 10-second gap back to second place. Putting down great pace here in this 75-minute event. It is a long haul. It's a marathon run. It takes a lot of pacing, a lot of wherewithal. You've got to keep it together for a long, long time. Closest battle now still in that GTE field, the two Echelon eSport, SimSport cars, possibly doing some fuel saving strategies. No doubt these drivers have done a couple of practice laps together, so they know each other's driving style, quite comfortable around each other. And 4 drivers here from the Echelon SimSport team. Very good showing from those guys. A little bit of cross traffic here down the Mulsanne Straight. Looks like here soon we're going to see our LMP1 class catch up to our LMP2 class. That LMP2 class has been kind of out on an island for a while here. Just racing each other, not really having to worry about cross traffic. That's going to change here shortly. Luckily for them, the LMP1 class... Oh, that was contact with the wall there from Peter. Possibly some damage. I heard it on the audio. Seems like he's still got control of the car, but that might slow down his pace and give Jan an opportunity to catch back up. He does have the option of a quick repair during the pit stop cycle, so if he can manage to hang on to the car for long enough, then he can get that repaired. Check in with David Burgess really quick as he makes his way through the LMPC field. Nice and easy, laying on the boost, just get around nice and clean. Easy does it. Alright, let's go back to our overall leader here as he catches up to the LMP2 class for the first time. Now, if I was that driver, I'd be trying to time this so that you don't get held up in that chicane. You want to pass these cars on the straight. It's really tough to do when you're judging how much boost to use down those straights. Gotta use the draft, gotta hang on to your energy. Nice little John out of the draft there, using every available resource that he has to gain as much speed as possible and put more of a gap on Jan. At second place. Let's take a little onboard down the straight. See if we can catch up with those HPD drivers. See, and now the concern would be, do you catch them into Indianapolis? It is about the worst place that you can have cross traffic here. Here I'm just nailing that boost button, trying to get by before he gets down there to the tighter section of Indianapolis and those left right-hand corners. He's able to make it by one. Just driving that car flat out. Trying to put as much of a gap on Yan as he can. Yan's still 10 seconds back, holding him strong. A little blink there from Peter, letting him know he's there. Makes it through clean. Looks like we have a GTE car in the pits now. Wondering if that's from damage or if he's getting some fuel in his car. Looks like he might have been from an incident. Check in with Yan here as he makes his way through the same LMP2 class. Possibly get some better opportunities for overtaking on this slower class and maybe gain some time on Peter. Take a quick second and check back in with your LMPC class. Julian's still leading that field. It's been a very dominant performance since the start. See as Kevin Hayes makes his way through again in that LMP2 car. A few problems there for Kevin Hayes during this race, but he's still running strong. Making his way around, enjoying the car. Check back in with Yan as he makes his way through the LMP2 field. Looks like he's going to get that first pass done on the straight, nice and easy. You see Peter up there in the distance just pulling away while he still has another car to overtake. Luckily for him, he's not going to get held up in the chicane too much. Trying to grab some draft there. A little bit of a check in now with Matthew Cockerham in that LMP2 car as he makes his way through. Looks like we got Rob back out on track. Not sure exactly why he was in the pits. Maybe a bathroom break? Who knows? It's a long race here. If you don't take care of business before the race, then that very well is a possibility that you might have to park it while you go do your thing. "75 minutes, a long time for these drivers to be handling these cars. Especially that LMP1 class. It's such a handful to wheel that car around, so much downforce, so much speed. Mentally, it just becomes taxing as we see Peter there going off track again. Trying to keep it together. Really have to pace yourself, not push too hard too early because you'll just run yourself out of energy. There's just a massive speed difference between the two classes. Peter using all his downforce to make his way around that GTE car. There's John Salata in the 4th place position for a GTE class. Check in with our 3rd place LMP1 driver as he makes his way through the LMP2 field now. Looks like having this cross traffic coming through the LMP2 field has kind of split the drivers up a little bit. Ooh. Close moment there for Daniel. Trying to find a way around that LMP2. Staying smart, having patience. He's going to tuck into the pits, possibly an early fuel stop. We are close to the halfway point, so we will be seeing pit cycles coming out now. Nick Terrell showing great performance at Monza. We saw him and Matthew battling for that first slot. A couple of mistakes and great pace from both drivers. They finished that race within, I think, 3 seconds of each other. We'll see here if they continue their battle. They've got Ben there between them, though, so Ben also putting pressure on Nick. One of our 2 Dunkin' Donuts HPD cars. Got my Dunkin' Donuts coffee cup right here next to me, actually. I love seeing that paint. Daniel out of the pits now. Back out on track. Quick repair maybe. Possibly some fuel. Maybe some new tires. Doesn't take very long to warm up those tires on the backstretch, but you got to get there first. Here we see Jan Korbs making his way around Kevin fueling in that LMPC car. Number 14 was our pole sitter for the LMP1 class, showing great pace. He was our winner of our first event here at Daytona. Peter shown him a little bit of pace that I don't think that he was ready to see. He led the first couple of laps here, and then Peter was able to make a great pass there in the second chicane and kind of driven away from him at this point. Now a 15-second gap between first and second place. Jan makes his way through the GTE field. Little chopper cam for you guys. Check in now with our LMP2 leader. He makes his way through to the first GTE traffic. Nick under a lot of pressure here from second place. Trying to find his way around that GTE car is not easy. See again, that is John Salata in that GTE. Getting caught up in all the battles he doesn't want to be in. Looks like our overall leader in the pits now, making his fuel stop. Yeah, now up into the overall lead. Possibly did some fuel saving there during the first stint. See if he can make the overcut work. Strategy playing a big part in these cars. It's all about that fuel management, that energy management, draft management, traffic management. There's a lot of aspects to this type of racing that you got to consider when you want to win a race. Peter making his way back out on track now. Right behind the LMP2 cars. That is not where he wanted to come out. He's going to have to find his way back around that traffic. LMP2 cars the closest to them in pace. The LMP1s, that is. Hoping not to get held up in this. Really want to pass him on the straight. Looks like he's going to be able to get it done. Now the draft from those cars is really helpful, and ooh, close moment there, almost ended in tears between Ben and Peter. Is able to survive. Blinking hard, he's going to throw it on the inside of the LMP2 leader. Jumps down in front of him, takes the air off the car. Everybody survives, and on he goes on his way. We'll see if Yan makes his way into the pits this lap or if he can stay out another lap. Currently, your LMP1 leader, Jan Korbs, that he has not yet made his way through the pits. Peter, on the other hand, has. Got a lot of traffic in front of him, Peter does. Trying not to lose too much time while he waits for that LMP1 pit cycle from his opponent. Big lockup from the GTE car. Worrying moment for Peter, but everybody survived. Looks like we got some difficulties from that 27 car of Zachary Bosch. Big lockup, heats up the tires, and has an LMP1 car in front of him taking the air off of him, so he has no downforce going into the low-speed left-hand or right-hander. It's quite a handful, a lot of action here in the RLMS series. Yeah, now making his way into the pits. See where Peter comes out. Think he's going to have enough to get back up into the overall lead. He's got some slower cars coming out of the pits in front of him, so he might get held up a little bit. Jan's still there. Back into the lead goes Peter. And number 7 Porsche. He's got a lot of cold tire traffic in front of him though. I think both of those LMPC cars just went through their pit cycle as well. It looks like we have a ton of cars on this side of the circuit right now. It is just a crowded mess out there. And LMP1, GTE, LMPC, HPD, all coming through the first couple of corners. When we have trouble for Kevin Hayes again in the first chicane. Let's see what happened here. Just a little too much mustard going into the first chicane. Back up and running. No harm, no foul. Now looking at our other Dunkin' Donuts car to Ben Bream, your LMP2 leader right now. He's got almost a minute gap back to the second LMP2 car. He must be on a different pit cycle right now. Daniel there in that LMP1, making his way into this wall of traffic in front of him. Let's go on board with Jan Korbs here in the LMP2 second place position. Well, it looks like he's going to catch him up in just the worst spot, losing time there. Smart move though, I mean, you lose a lot more time if you go flying into the wall. Oh my gosh! Scary moment for the drivers. Great job keeping it together. And on through he goes. Could have ended in tears. Great job by both drivers staying patient, making the smart move. See Daniel making his way through GTE traffic. Number 46 of Taylor Stantham there in second place. Nearly turned in on him, but was able to keep it away. 26 second back from the Jason Taylor in that first position in the GTE class. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to win this one. Looks like your tightest battle for the lead right now is in that LMPC class. Evan just staying locked to the back of Julian here. Just outside of draft range. I think that's probably due to cross traffic. Let me see again, all of the cars stacked up on near the start-finish straight of the circuit here. A really crowded track out there. And these multi-class races, you're pretty much constantly in traffic. Looks like our leader of LMP2 is in the pits now, Ben, coming in for some fuel, maybe some tires. Jason Taylor in that GTE car showing a dominant performance. Took the green flag and just checked out. Put a massive gap on the field, and he's not letting up. Looks like Jan's got an open track, open air in front of him. Let's see if he can chase down Peter for that first place position. So far, he's got a lot of work to do to get caught up. There's almost a 20-second gap between first and second place. Daniel back in that third position and making his way through traffic now. Looks like we had a lead change in the LMP1 class, or LMP2 class, sorry. Nick Terrell back up in the lead. As Ben comes out of the pits now. I think we may have missed the pit cycle for Nick. I think he was in the pits earlier than Ben. Not quite sure. Jason Taylor now under fire from our LMPC class coming up behind him. He originally overtook one of the GTC or the LMPC cars early on. Now they're coming around to lap him for the first time. Like we said before, those LMPC cars takes a while to come up to temperatures, but once they do, they are fast. Much faster than that GTE car. Especially on the straights. I believe they have a higher top end. So we see two Corvettes coming down the straight here. Corvettes and Porsches, those are the two most popular makes in this race today. You got the Porsche in the LMP1 class, the 919, and then you have the 911 in the GTE class. And then for the Corvettes you have the C7 in the LMPC class. And then you have the C8 in the GTE class. That seems to be the most popular car in the series so far. Check in here with Kevin as Daniel makes his way around. Easily done. Peter now almost up to a 20-second gap back to P2. And let's check back into their LMPC leader as he makes his way up to the back of the GTE leader. He's mostly made his way through most of the field now. Let's see if he can find a good section to pass the GTE leader through. Jason's pace is just so much that he might have a little bit of issues passing if he doesn't catch him up on a straight. Nick leading your LMP2 class. David Burgess making his way around. Easy calculated move there by David. Less than 30 minutes left in the race. We have passed the halfway point. I think most drivers have either gotten fuel and tires or are about to. I think the GTE class can make it a little bit longer without fuel and tires than the prototypes. See, our closest battle on track right now is in the LMP2 class for the second slot. Matthew Cockerham following Ben through, trying to catch him up. I believe most drivers have made their fuel stop in that class now. Should be good for the rest of the race. Cut back to our LMP1 leader, our overall leader, Peter, making his way through the GTE field again as I see him blinking his lights, letting him know, I'm coming through. Easily done. A little bit of curb here on the right, here on the left. And on his way he goes. Julian in that LMPC car. Stuck in the draft of Jason. Trying to set him up, find a way around. And Jason just showing blistering speed in that Porsche RSR. Absolutely dominating performance in that GTE class. Check back in with Yan as he makes his way around some more GTE traffic. Seems like down every straight there's another Echelon Sim Sport car to have to find your way around. These guys doing a great job of keeping it together. Had a very clean race so far. Very happy to see that. Let's see, tightest battle on the track still in that LMP2 class between second and third. Ben and Matthew battling it out. Matthew trying to pull him back into draft range. See Taylor in the pits, he must be getting his fuel. I don't see any incidents on his name. And there you can see just how close those two LMP2 cars are. About a 5-second gap between the two of them. Kevin doing a great job of catching his field back up after that early mistake. Looks like he was able to get that quick repair when he went through his pits, because that front splitter is looking much more clean than it did early on. Now able to pull second place in the LMPC class into a 10-second gap, so 10 seconds between each of the drivers. Very good recovery drive here for Kevin Fueling. Oh, looks like our LMPC1 driver, first place driver, has made his way through. Found his way past Jason Taylor. I believe he got that done on the straight nice and easily. There you can see the second place LMPC getting overtaken by our fourth place LMP1 driver, David Burgess. Check back in with our race leader here. Pulling a draft off a Corvette down the back straight. All our drivers getting pretty well spread out here in our last 20 minutes of racing. That LMP2 class really tight though. These drivers mostly neck and neck the entire 75 minutes we've been racing. Well, 55 minutes so far. Still got 20 minutes to go, as you can see by the race timer at the top left of your screen. See Daniel making his way past one of the mini Echelon Sim Sport Corvettes out there racing with us today. Looks like Jason Taylor finally making his way into the pits to grab some fuel and some tires. Massively long fuel stint there for him. Looks like he's going to spare himself the LMP2 field flying by him on track. It's much easier to get overtaken by the faster class when you're sitting in the pits than out on track. Here we see Peter making his way up into that LMP2 battle. Those drivers are going to be focused forward, and he's going to have to find his way around. We saw earlier a little bit of conflict there coming onto the front stretch as he tries to find a safe way around, and a little bit of miscommunication between drivers could cause issues, but so far so good. Looks like he's going to catch him up in the wrong place. Oh, a little bit of held up. Nice and patient. Find his way through. Oh, an off track. Oh, an incident. No. Matthew into the wall. Could have been a little bit of netcode. Hate to see it. Peter on his way. I'm sure he doesn't feel great about that move. Unfortunate for the number one car of Matthew Cocker. I mean, he was having a great performance. Did everything he was supposed to do, did it all right, and just sometimes it's not in the cards. Go back and take a look at that again. He's giving him all the room in the world, and I think Peter just thought he was clear when he wasn't. Oh, you hate to see it. That's part of multi-class racing. Yeah, now making his way past Matthew. Matthew no doubt has the damage to that LMPC, or that HPD car. See if he'll be able to manage the rest of the race with it, or if he's got to dive in and get a second quick repair. Check in now with Yan again as he makes his way past the GTE leader. Makes his way up to him. Nice and easily done. Our LMP1 leader making his way through to the LMP2 leader. Nice and patient, I think, after that earlier incident. Ooh. Maybe not. Peter feeling the pressure, feeling the fatigue. Still in that first slot. He's got about 20 seconds behind him. Lock up there from Kevin. Peter is not letting up. He is full throttle. He wants this race win. Trying to find his way around. That battle in the LMPC class is getting pretty tight. Let's check on that. Kevin now catching up to the back of Evan after that early incident. He's had a great recovery drive. You see the two LMPC drivers split by the HPD leader of Nick Terrell. Kevin's hoping that LMPC car gets held up here in the second chicane. Doesn't look like it's going to happen for him. He was able to get quite the draft. We'll see if he can make a move when he catches him up, because I believe he is going to get caught up there. Now your tightest battle on the track here. We're watching Kevin fueling and Evan Pasquini. Saw Kevin lock up there in the last lap. No doubt pushing as hard as he can in that C7 Corvette. Now got him in draft range. Evan's got a little bit of damage on the rear end of that car. That could be slowing him down a little bit. Big lockup from Kevin in the draft. Ooh, scary moment there for Yan as he tries to make his way through. Everybody survived so far. Evan blinking out a little bit. Scary for Jan. Trying to figure out where on track that car is going to be when it blinks back in. Kevin not losing too much time to his competitor and Evan in that LMPC class. I see Ben closing in on the two. Gonna try to find his way around these two battling prototypes. Nice and easily done by Ben there in the HPD car, making his way past Kevin Fueling as he tries to catch up to his competitor Evan Pasquini in the second place position. Now making his way past that second place car. It's going to give Evan a little bit of a draft down the backstretch. That's not going to help Kevin at all. Kevin's kind of hung out to dry back there trying to catch up. And of course, Julian, your LMPC leader, has got a healthy gap of 20 seconds back to the second place car of Evan. Julian showing a dominant performance in that C7. Nice and clean car, no damage so far. Kevin, looks like Kevin's going to get a draft from that LMP1 car. It goes by so quick though, there's not much of a draft to gain. Looks like he is able to make up a little bit of time there. Evan not quite getting the same effect as he gets passed by that LMP1 late in the straight. Kevin right on the tail of Evan here. See if he can make a move. On board now with Kevin Fueling in that 777 C7. Looks like he's going to make on down to the inside in Indianapolis. Can he make it stick? And up into second place goes Kevin Fueling. Hard fought battle. Kevin having a bad start there at the beginning. Massive recovery drive by him, now up into second place. Now on to chase down the leader. Less than 10 minutes remaining in the race. I don't know if he's going to be able to get there. Julian might just have too much of a gap on him unless something happens here in this race. Checking in now with your overall leader, Peter. Peter started in the second position after qualifying. Held it behind Yan for a couple of laps and then sent it on him in the second chicane, taking that overall lead, and he's just driven away with it. Looks like they're still battling. Something happened. Kevin into the pits. Possibly a splash and dash here for Kevin after he makes that overtake. We'll see if the other C7 drivers have to do the same or if they have enough fuel to make it. Daniel making his way up into the LMP2 leader, Nick Terrell. Should be easily done on the straight, yep. Just a little bit of boost and bye-bye. Nick now with about a 10-second gap to second place of Ben Bream. Trying to pull a little bit of draft off that C7 leader. Julian Lockwood and that Golf paint on the C7. Easily done on the back stretch again. Go check in with Yan as he makes his way past some GTE traffic. John Salata in that RSR and Rob Henderson in that Corvette. Doing all he can to chase down his opponent Peter in first place. Trying not to lose too much time to these GTE cars. Peter now holding over a 30-second gap in first place. And that battle for fourth place in the GTE class is tight. John looking to make a move on Rob here to take that fourth place position in the GTE class. Looks like Daniel making his way into the pits. Possible splash and dash to make it to the end. These cars can't quite do 75 minutes without some sort of fuel saving. It looks like he wasn't able to get enough draft to make it all the way around, so he's going to have to put a little bit more fuel in it. John in the draft down the back straight. Can he make it? Can he get it done? Looks like he's going to have overspeed on that Corvette. Does he make a move here? Does he wait? Looks like he's going to be patient. Rob moving to the inside, trying to cover off that, keep that door closed. He's going to compromise his line going into that first chicane. John goes deep in the draft. He's going to lose a little bit of time. Lets him have about a second and a half there back for Rob. In a little bit of a comfort zone. He's going to have to catch him back up in the draft. Check in with your LMPC leader here. Still running strong. Ben Bremen in the LMP2 car, second place. Trying to chase down Nick Terrell in first. He's pulled a 20-second gap down to about an 11-second gap. He's only got 4 minutes left to do it. We'll see if he can get there. And Peter, your overall leader, making his way into the pits for a little splash and dash as well. Again, not enough fuel saving to make it all the way through the race. He's still got another lap, maybe 2 laps to go. These cars, the LMP1 cars, do not have a fuel calculator built into them like most of the cars on iRacing. You have to do manual fuel calculations on the fly. Either you have a program do it for you, or you have to do it in your head, and it just adds another level of complexity to these already complex cars and format. Yan's going to come out just in front of Peter here in the overall lead, and we're going to have a battle for the lead coming into the checkered flag. 3 minutes until the white flag flies. We'll see if Yan can keep it in front of him. Who knows if he has enough fuel in the car to make it all the way, but this is going to be a battle to keep an eye on. Looking at timing, looks like John has made his way past Rob Henderson in that GTE field, but we're going to stick here in the cameras with our LMP1 leaders. Yeah, and doing everything he can to break that draft, hold on to that overall lead. Peter pedaling hard, trying to catch up. Both drivers showing an outstanding performance of stamina and endurance here at this 75-minute race at Le Mans. You see them weaving down the backstretch, trying to break the draft. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. Peter's going to pull up to the back of him. Peter taking a little peek. Ooh. Manages to get up on the inside in the second chicane and make his way through. That was quite a move by Peter there. Let's see if Jan can make up the gap. See if he's got any boost left. Peter Sikdar and Jan Korbs in the first and second slot fighting for the overall race lead side by side as they go towards Indianapolis. Peter going to tuck into the back again, using all of the boost he's got. Ooh, a lock up by Peter. A good recovery, great job keeping it out of the back of Jan there. Yeah, I'm trying to pull away now. Peter probably overheated his tires a little bit there. Got some GTE traffic in the way. This is the worst place to be as a GTE driver between these two battling Hornets. Ooh, hairy moment. They're going to be able to make their way around. See, that was Taylor Stantham in that GTE car, just trying to stay out of the way of these two battling for the overall win. 10 seconds left. I don't think they're going to get the white flag this time around. I do not believe they have white flag yet. We have 2 seconds left, and that is the end of the race, the end of the race timer there. But I believe we're going to have to go another lap. We'll see what Peter does here on the backstretch. If he uses all of his booster, he saves it. We saw him make that big move there on the second chicane last lap. We'll see if he can make something happen here on this lap. Yeah, and moving to the inside, trying to break that draft. Peter letting him do it. Looks like he's going to be holding on to that boost till later in the lap, trying to make a move. Very wide for both drivers coming out of that first chicane. Battling tooth and nail for this overall win here at Le Mans. We'll check in quickly with Nick Terrell in the LMP2. He's got Ben Bremen breathing down his neck, trying to take away that race one as well. We got two very close battles for position here. Nick Terrell in the LMP2 class and Jan Korbs in the LMP1 class. Both drivers trying to hang on just a couple more miles. See if Peter has enough boost here to catch Jan up on the straight. He's right on the back of him, pulling him in. Going to use the draft, use the boost, use everything that he possibly has to get past him. Peter spent most of the race in the lead with about a 20-second gap, having to dive in and grab some fuel. Now he's up into the inside and no contact made. Through goes Peter into the overall race lead. Yeah, now tied on the back of him. Side by side. Headed towards the Porsche curves. Jason Taylor in the hot seat right now of that GTE car. Well, the question is this the checkered or white flag? Jason trying to stay out of the way. Scary moment for all three drivers. Ann's gonna tuck into the back. Yep, I believe that was our checkered flag, and Jan Korb's your race winner. Great job by both drivers keeping it clean, having a good race. Here we see Nick Terrell in the LMP2 car making his way around with Ben right behind him. He's going to be able to get it done there in that LMP2 car. Coming around from the last time. Ben hot on his tail, but not quite close enough to grab a draft. It looks like we've had a position change in the LMPC class. Evan Pasquini having issues in the second chicane, and now, or Julian having issues in the second chicane. Evan Pasquini now up into first place. We'll stick with the LMP2 class as they cross the line for the final time. And Nick Terrell, your LMP2 winner today here at Le Mans on iRacing. Great job by both drivers, very close battle. Evan in that number one position, taking the lead on the final lap. Something happened to Julian, I'm not sure exactly what that was, if it was a fuel stop. Not seeing any incidents showing up on my timing here, so... Oh, and we got a car around. Is Julian having issues again? Possibly from the car getting light without fuel in it. Not quite sure what it would be. I believe our GTE winner, Jason Taylor, has already made his way around the track. We missed that moment. Apologies, Jason. Great job winning that race. Stick again with Evan here in that first place position for the LMPC class. As he makes his way across the line in the first position for the first time on the final lap. That's the only lap that counts. Lots of laps done here in the 75 minutes, but there's only one that matters, and that is the last lap with checkered flag, as Evan Pasquini takes the checkered flag for the LMPC class as your LMPC race winner. Congratulations to all our drivers. Great job today. Really great race here today on the iRacing platform at Le Mans. 4 classes of cars. Lots of great battling. Lots of great moments. Go back and get a little bit of slow-mo here as we roll out of the stream. Appreciate all of our viewers. Thank you for tuning in today. It was quite an exciting race here on the Ampy Motorsports YouTube channel. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you next week.